Wow. Rolando Romero goes in on Teofimo Lopez. He calls him TakeOver Thursday and said he's not a pay-per-view attraction. He's not a big star that he claims to be. So he's not ever going to fight Teofimo Lopez. That's what he said in a recent interview. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I've been covering boxing for over a decade. Brand new interview with Rolly Romero and Cigar Talk has just hit the internet, and Rolly, being outspoken and charismatic, he has some choice words. He talked about a variety of different things. He says Pitbull Cruz, the upcoming fight on the Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu card. He said there's going to be a dead Chihuahua. Obviously, it's a play on words because Isaac Cruz, his nickname is Pitbull, which is a vicious type of dog, or can be a vicious type of dog, and he's calling him a Chihuahua, right? So in the midpoint of the interview with Cigar Talk, Rolly was asked about Teofimo Lopez, and Rolly says he's not going to go fully into detail, but he says, long story short, I saved Teofimo Lopez's life. He says, I helped out Teofimo's sister in some way. He didn't really elaborate. And he even got Teofimo Sr. out of some stuff. So he says, I don't know what happened, but it sounds like something personal behind the scenes happened between the two, Rolly and Teofimo, something that he's not comfortable, because the two used to be friends publicly. You could see them around, and now they've been kind of taking shots at each other. And it even got to a point where Teofimo, his dad, Teofimo Sr., said that he wanted his son to fight against Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz winner, since the winner of that fight will be a champion in the 140 pounds where Teofimo is a champion. So basically fight the winner in a unification. Teofimo, never that I've heard, he hasn't really elaborated on what caused this friction. And Rolly, in this interview, from what I seen, I didn't watch the whole thing, but the parts that I did see, Rolly didn't really elaborate on it either, about exactly what transpired to sour their relationship. But nonetheless, it's here now. Rolly, Teo, the beef, and whatever Rolly is saying, he's saying he helped Teofimo's family and he saved Teofimo's life. Now, he's also stated this in past interviews. He says that Teofimo was depressed. Teofimo was considering harming himself, and it was Rolly who claims that he intervened to prevent all this stuff from happening. Now, the host did ask Rolly, hey, now that, things are sour, you're both champions in the same division, is it possible that the two of you would or could ever fight? Rolly immediately shoots down the idea. He says, it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna allow it to happen, because, and he basically made it sound like whatever's going on between them is deeper than boxing. So he doesn't even want to entertain that. In addition, Rolly goes on to say that he took some shots at Teofimo and his star power. He says he fights on TakeOver Thursdays. And then the host tried to kind of nice it up and said something to the effect of, oh, but you have to admit it was right before the Super Bowl, which I'll get to. Make sure you guys keep that in your mind at the end of this video. And he said that's TakeOver Thursdays. He's basically not a big star, and that's why he's fighting on the Thursday. Wumpty. So my thoughts, I'm not really tripping. I mean, of course, people love to see unifications, but the unifications become harder when you have cold wars and sides of the street. You got Teofimo and what he's doing, and he's with Top Rank pretty much long term. You got Rolly with Mayweather Promotions. And until I see them working together frequently on a basis where it's not like, oh, this Top Rank fighter is the mandatory or whatever the case is, where they're forced to fight, then I just assume that those fights become harder to make because they're not in-house fights. You don't really see Top Rank doing a bunch of PBC fights. Occasionally they might do a fight with Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter, but that was literally Sean Porter, his very last fight of his career. So why wouldn't PBC? They probably knew that. They probably knew Sean Porter was one fight away from retirement. So why not send him over there if it's his final fight, give him an opportunity and a payday that they probably wouldn't match because he got whatever he got from fighting Terrence Crawford on ESPN on, I believe it was a pay-per-view, right? And you did have Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos, but Edwin is a great fighter. I don't think he's a huge name. So that being said, he probably came cheap in the grand scheme of things, cheaper than a Frank Martin, somebody who's with an Errol Spence and got the backing and in Derrick James's gym, etc. That fight proved to be lackluster, just like Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz, another Thursday fight with Top Rank at ESPN. A lot of people didn't really enjoy it. So Rolly was cooking when he said he's takeover Thursdays and stuff like that. And as far as the Super Bowl, the host did bring it up to kind of like, you know, be objective, I guess you could say. But here's the thing. You fought right before the Super Bowl and it did abysmal numbers. Teofimo Lopez, I've already made videos about it. Teofimo Lopez sold 6,000 tickets. I don't even know how many they comped, but the total attendance was like 6,200 people in the building. So all those people that were in town for the Super Bowl, which was to take place that Sunday, the 49ers, my 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, and then you put the fight on Thursday, clearly that decision was made by Top Rank, Bob Arum, ESPN, Disney, in order to capitalize while you had all of these people in town for a big sporting event. And the best you can do is 6,000 tickets. That's not, to me, that's not that great. Ryan Garcia in Texas fought Oscar Duarte. He sold more than that. Devin Haney fought in the Bay Area. I went to the fight and he sold more than that. So Teofimo claims to be, he brings this on himself as well. He claims to be this huge star, but the numbers aren't showing. Now that's just the live attendance. Don't get me started. The live gate hasn't come out, but the live gate can't be crazy with the fight like Jermaine Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez off of $6,200 tickets being sold, because you still got some comps in there. And I know the ringside tickets, I seen prices. There's no way the ringside tickets were that expensive, you know, comparatively speaking to like an event like Mayweather McGregor or trying to get into a Gervonta Davis fight. So Teo brings a lot of this energy on himself because he says, oh, I got TakeOver Promotions and I'm the showman. And he had this Deadpool costume and then switches costumes and comes out like the showman. And he does all this stuff. And then the numbers aren't really matching the hype that he's giving and what he says he brings to the table. Also feigning and faking a retirement, pretending you're retired, and then coming right back when the sanctioning bodies, the WBO or whatnot, ask you, yo, are you retired or not? We need a clear-cut answer. So Teofimo, he's doing all this stuff to, I guess, be a star, but these aren't star numbers. And don't even get me started with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. When that fight happens, we know it's selling more than 6,000 tickets. We know it's going to do a healthy live gate. We know it's going to bring more attention and be more of an attraction. And the funny thing is, Oscar De La Hoya said he wanted to make a Super Bowl of fights with Teofimo and Ryan Garcia. And at the time, Teofimo Lopez was doing interviews. He was at somebody's fight and he was in the crowd and there was a media scrum. And Teofimo says that he didn't want to fight Ryan Garcia. He's on to bigger and better things. So the bigger and better things were controversially beating Jermaine Ortiz in front of 6,000 people with ESPN numbers. ESPN is in 70 million plus homes, and your numbers went down from the Josh Taylor fight to the Jermaine Ortiz fight. Now, the Josh Taylor was a great performance by Teofimo Lopez. People enjoyed that. Teo looked sharp. This wasn't a sharp performance. Teo was missing wildly. He was punching the ropes. He looked frustrated. And personally, I thought he lost to Jermaine Ortiz. So that, coupled with the fact that you didn't sell many tickets and your numbers went down on a platform like ESPN, owned by Disney, which has 70 million people, and you're not even close to cracking 1 million views on free TV, staged right before the Super Bowl, with all this, the greatest show on earth type of promotion and flyers and photo shoots. It just goes to show you that what Rolly is saying is true with Teofimo's star power. Let me know how you guys interpret it. Subscribe for more boxing. Rolly, you can find his interview on Cigar Talk. Let me know what you guys think, all in all. But I'm looking forward to Rolly versus, and I seen a lot of people were talking about, Rolly didn't fight Ryan Garcia and he's fighting on a co-main. But best believe that card with Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu is going to be more viewed than Teofimo Lopez's fight with Jermaine Ortiz. And it's going to be on Amazon Prime, the first pay-per-view. They're going to do a better live gate. They're also making back-end money on pay-per-view. And in addition to that, I think it's a loaded card, so it's going to definitely sell more than 6,000 tickets. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.